think gravity's way.
Oh.
Hey, dude.
Oh,
Well, we'll see.
Vinny is coming.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to.
No, I just reminded her.
Well, I talked to him earlier and he said he had, he was supposed to work tonight. So he got someone to fill in for him, I think.
And this is what we sent. Yeah. Oh, from. I thought we approved on this. I thought we did approve on this.
No, no, there was a question.
Ah,
Jamie was gonna go back and watch the videos and realize.
ah. Hey, Brandon, how you doing? Good, very well. How was your trip? Nice. A little warmer over there? A lot warmer. A lot warmer. They're getting a lot of rain now, though.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think it rained any, that one day we were out there. Out there, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, my wife said they were getting up the same day.
Oh,
like not missing you.
My daughter lives in Irvine, which is like about 50 miles north of San Diego, right in between San Diego and LA.
Yeah.
She lives right near the coast. It's near the coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's nice. My son used to live up in San Francisco. And
Nice to see you.
Oh, wow.
they're crazy up there. Hi, Bobby. Nice. Where my daughter lives, the people are a lot different. I was telling my daughter lives in Irvine, California. My son used to live in San Francisco. They're crazy up there. Down in Irvine, they're decent people down there.
Regular people.
Yeah, they're not. How are you? Good.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Not only that, it looks pretty good too. Are your chickens laying eggs yet? Okay, must be getting close to spring.
They slow down a little bit, and they never really stop.
Okay.
We're pretty fortunate there. Really like the cabling. It's very interesting. I didn't really think about cabling in crochet. Very, very nice.
We stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Barlow?
Here.
Mr. Keitel?
Here.
Mr. Lowe?
Here.
All right, thank you guys for coming out tonight and being with us. We have RJ Hall here with us tonight to give us a presentation on our pension plan. So, Kevin, we'll turn it over to you this time.
Great, thank you so much. Well, I think we'll start by giving a little bit of a brief review of what happened last year,
Okay.
and then kind of transition into where we are this year. We have in your folders basically the investment report. There's an actuarial report, which we're not really going to spend much time on. And we also have a couple individual handouts that I'll talk about here in just a minute. But overall in 2023, I think the story was basically the U.S. economy continued to defy the predictions that there was supposed to be a recession, right? That's what the main headline item was, and over. We kept hearing on the news. It never happened. We're happy about that. We finished strong in the fourth quarter. Your plan had a 6.87% rate of return in the fourth quarter alone. Overall, we finished almost 11%, 10.85. So we're pleased about that. The discussion involving the market has shifted from when is the next rate hike going to be to when is the first rate cut going to be, which if you're like me, you're probably happy to hear that. I think there was some discussion fourth quarter of last year that potentially it would happen in the first quarter, but I think with some of the recent data the Fed's been looking at, and when the pundits analyzed what the Fed had said basically this past weekend, I think the chance dropped substantially that we're going to see a rate cut in March, and it may be pushed until the next Fed meeting. Overall, inflation has been declining since the beginning of last year. We were hovering in January of 23 about 6.4. Now we're somewhere in the neighborhood of between 3 and 4. The target, of course, is still 2%. That's what the Fed is looking for. Now, whether they come off that mark, that could be anybody's guess, but at this point, that's what they're still suggesting, is that they're going to continue to kind of stay the course until we see that 2%. As far as where the performance was last year, large cap U.S. equity was the leading asset class, primarily driven by what we call the Magnificent Seven, which was one of the handouts there that I put in your folder. And we'll talk about that just real briefly here. And what I mean by that is there's 7 stocks that have pretty much been driving the entire market. And those are Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, and Tesla. So we saw those basically outperform the market pretty handily last year. And what we're actually seeing now too is there's been quite a change in the weighting. When we look at the S&P 500 index, back in 2013, those accounts made up about 8.2% of the S&P, and now they're making up over 28%.
Oh.
So when we look at it, basically whenever one of those 7 stocks has a bad day, the S&P has a bad day. It's ultimately what we're seeing there. We did have some good news last year. We saw gasoline prices fall. They fell about 6% in November. Nationally, they've fallen from about almost $4 per gallon in August. And looking at last November, they were about $3.45, and they've continued to drop from that point. Wall Street tends to focus on the headline year-over-year pace of inflation, as it's one of their major indicators. However, we are all still feeling the pain of food prices that are up about 20% from where they were at the end of 2021, and broader inflation is up about 17.9%. We did see a jobs report in December that came in a little hotter than we were expecting, which has kind of shifted that first rate cut conversation to down the road a little bit. And I think overall what we expect going forward in 2024 is we're gonna see market fluctuation based off of whatever the Fed is kind of hinting at. Anytime there's a Fed meeting, they're gonna analyze the minutes after that, and they're gonna take the market's gonna take a stance as far as when they think there is going to be a rate cut, and that's of course gonna be the main driving factor. We do still think there's a possibility of a recession. We haven't ruled it out, but I think the likelihood is getting slimmer and slimmer as we go on. Not to say that it couldn't still happen, but if it does happen, I think it's probably gonna happen between the second and third quarter. And it might be what we would call a shallow recession, meaning it would only be for about a quarter or two, and then we would kind of accelerate out of that and then see slower growth going forward. If we move into your investment report, on pages 2 and 3 is kind of the lay of the land and where we have the overall investments allocated. And again, we've been following the format of about a 60-40, meaning 60% stocks, 40% bonds.
Right.
We are due for a rebalance. I was going to suggest that we also change where their investments, or excuse me, where the expenses are being paid from. Right now, they're drawing them from a few different accounts in the U.S. equity space. And what I think we need to do is transition that to have those expenses come out of the fixed income side of the portfolio. Primarily because we have a higher balance in the fixed income portfolio than we do in some of these, where they're drawing those investment expenses from right now. So, they're really drawing down some of these funds, which makes us have to rebalance much more frequently. So I think that would be my one suggestion. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I think we're in good shape from that standpoint. We'll kind of bring mid-cap. You'll see there's a couple accounts, mid-cap separate and small-cap separate, that they're in the middle of page 2, where we saw some of those expenses being paid from them, and you can see the overall assets dropped accordingly. So that's kind of where I was going with that. Performance-wise, most of the accounts have been doing well. There's one on the watch list right now, and that's going to be your equity income. It's a large value account from large U.S. equity. We don't really see it as an issue. It's turned it around on the short term. The 1-month number is outperforming the index. We do have a couple other watch list events, but primarily those are going to be from the qualitative side, not the quantitative. So quantitative is strictly performance. Qualitative is anything else that falls outside of strictly performance, whether there's an investment strategy change, whether there's a management change going on behind the scenes. That's kind of what's happened here. So there was a couple managers that had moved on or been reallocated, but ultimately we don't see any concern with those particular accounts on the watch list. I didn't want to really get into the nitty gritty of it, but I mean, you're in good shape. The plan is funded at 177% right now, so we're pleased about that. And the other handout that I included in your folder just shows the reversal that we saw from 22 to 23. It says what worked and what didn't. And wow, talk about a turnaround. Every single asset class has pretty much done a complete reversal, with the exception of the commodities has gone down. But again, it's pretty amazing just when you look at this handout just to see how far down and how bad 22 was. And just as a recap, in 22, equities were down double-digit negative returns. Bonds as well were down double-digit negative returns. We haven't seen something like that happen in about 40-something years. So, uniquely bad. We're glad we're out of it. As far as your actuarial report goes, there really isn't a whole lot to talk about. I would say, as I already touched on, the plan is 188% funded, or excuse me, 177% funded. Your overfunded amount actually went up about $25,000. So from a funding adjustment standpoint, when you're doing your budgeting, that means you're actually going to get $3,000 more credit towards your MMO, which is good. And that's pretty much in sum total what we were going to review with you. We're going to leave, of course, you have copies of your actuarial report. This is the 1/1/23 report, so it's kind of old news at this point, based off of data from 21 and 22. And it's used to predict going forward for 24 and 25.
So you're asking for a motion from the board to, pay the funds out of the fixed income, and also you wanna equal out to 60/40?
Yeah, just rebalance the portfolio, and I can work with Wendy.
50/50 you're talking about?
Keep it 60/40, just kind of get the accounts that were drawn down by the expenses kind of replenished to where they were previously, to get the weightings where they needed to be.
I will make a motion for this time that we rebalance the 60/40 budget with the fixed income. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? That way you can work with Wendy now moving forward to get that taken care of.
Sure, perfect.
Okay.
So on some of these large baskets, are there dividends paid? And if so, is that money put back into that? How's that work?
The dividends are gonna come from the fixed income side of the portfolio, and any dividends that are distributed are reallocated.
Reallocate, okay.
Any other questions for,
Wendy has one.
you have a question back there, Wendy?
You did do the motion for the rebalancing, did you wanna do a motion to move the expenses? It kinda got combined in there.
The 60/40?
No, that was the rebalancing, and then he said he wants to move a motion to,
Out of
pay
fixed-
expenses
For
out of.
fixed income, yeah, I
Okay,
had
that
that
was a
too.
combined.
That was in the combined
Okay,
motion.
thank you,
Yep.
thank you.
All right, if we have any more questions, you guys are free to call out if you'd like.
Great, thank you.
Have a safe trip home.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for coming, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, the next thing we have on here is public comment. Do we have any public comment tonight? Go ahead.
I just want to thank the police department for, helping me get home from the accident in Emmitsburg last week.
How is everybody?
Very well.
Bring them a dozen donuts.
My car is. It's just
Anything else? Mr. Swatt?
Yes, a while back, I need to eat crow and apologize for creating a ruckus on the center line, painting, and the money it cost. Now that I got old, I realize everybody in the township, half of them are like old as me, and I can't see the road without that yellow line at nighttime. With the new cars and the bright lights, that yellow line actually helps me see the road, you know, like on Boyle Road and Lenshaw. It's very interesting how important that reflection is. And I just want to let you know that I apologize for creating a ruckus,
Thank you.
and the money was well spent.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? All right, I see Mrs. Deb Ott is not present tonight. She was sent, a letter to request her presence to be here tonight on January 16th, by certified mail, for action or discussion of regarding the zoning issue that's been going on with her property for many, many years. Unfortunately, I guess she does not want to participate. Since Mrs. Ott has chosen not to represent herself before the Board of Supervisors to address these issues, I'll make a motion to the board that we continue to go forward with the citations. There's 21 citations here in front of me. Back to the magistrate office to and we request the magistrate to turn these citations over to the Adams County Common Pleas Court for restitution and a decision on, we're asking for a decision to assume the property, and to take care of the problem himself. That's the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, the board is going to go into executive session to discuss some legal matters and also some personnel issues. To address. So we're going to be adjourning at 6:14 for executive session. All right, folks.
There you are.
Okay, Nick, had to make a couple phone calls, but I got covered.
Thank you, sir.
Pull up the stone, grab a milk on you. Yeah, Vinny, how you doing?
Busy as all get out.
Tell me about it. Someone down before, if I had a jacket, I'd put it under the sun and jack it back up so I can get an extra hour.
What was the police officer that was
I don't understand how the day gets away from me so fast. Well, that too, it's only February.
Oh, Thursday.
I'm going to New Jersey. Sorry.
It's good to know.
I'm gonna be gone Thursday, Friday, I'll be home Saturday. And then we're going to visit Billy, and then keep, we're halfway to jail, so I figured might as well keep going and see my brother. Whatever. On Friday, and then chill Saturday and come home. It's hard to visit this guy, you gotta make an appointment 2 weeks in advance. The Phoenix State Correctional Institution has, because of COVID, they changed the whole visiting process. And what else? Had a guy was extradited from Elmira, New York, for not showing up for court. Showed up here. I got the phone call, all I had to do was get him to Gettysburg. Wrong. Wound up getting him a train ticket to get him to Philadelphia, to get him to Newark, where he could get a bus that would go to Elmira. And that took a while. About 4.5 hours by the time I got done. At least he bought all the stuff. Yeah, yeah. No, it's closer to Finger Lakes, up by Ithaca, somewhere around there. It might be in the South.
I was trying to think. I have a friend that lives in Rome, Pennsylvania, which is just south of Naples, New York. It seemed to me like Elmira was in there somewhere.
Everything else, it's in the South.
I meant more like in the middle. Because she's practically straight north from where we live. Just a little bit south of New York.
Well, what's his, Ray Googled it on maps and found out that it's 5.5 hour drive from her. And that makes sense.
Yeah, that's about right, 'cause it takes me 4.5-ish to get up the road.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go see my sister on Thursday. Then we're gonna have an intervention with my brother. And I can try buy a car. Cause his car, there ain't no way his car can pass inspection. Well, we don't care. He's got the money, he just needs to get to do it. He only drives, Thursday, he drives to the restaurant, 84 miles away to get fresh stuff. That's the extent of it. Now, he may, oh, he's 4 years younger than me.
Well, basically, you should see how much.
You are the senior citizen.
You bet you I'm the one that trained everybody.
Oh, that's scary.
I had no shit.
Too many irons in the fire, bro.
I got a lot.
Listening to something.
No, right now.
Can't see past 5 feet.
But at any moment it'll rain.
I'll take them off.
These are reading glasses, I can't see past 5 feet. I don't usually drive
You
it.
can't see past 2 feet.
Alright. You look like a friendly face over there. Oh yeah, that crab was delicious. Wonderful. Couldn't get enough of it. I'm so glad you got it. I love it so much.
It's disgusting, but John,
Dude,
who lives for it.
Yeah, I grew up with it. Brings back memories. Husky doesn't even know.
Yeah, he does.
I'll tell you one thing, I cooked the sirloin steak the other night. That thing was unbelievable. I mean, that is,
Wow. That's from the new.
yeah.
See, I honestly, John and I argue about this, but we raised this much on our farm.
Yeah.
Where there's not a whole lot of room for them to walk and play around.
Right.
But the other farm, they have quite a bit of hills come up to either.
Right.
It's back down, up, back down.
Right.
I really think that builds a little more muscle maybe.
Yeah.
I think that also.
Because the meat was like, I mean, it was hard to flip it on the grill. It's hard to flipping it on the grill.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really good. It was really good. So I had a pork sauce, that was fantastic.
Oh, they're just, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
You haven't
complaining.
tried it anymore.
Yeah, I had Richard over, and he feasted on the sirloin as well.
Believe it or not, we're still eating from.
Wow.
That's what I'm gonna take next week. I'm taking 5 pounds of hamburger and making chili.
Yeah, I'm left out.
No, that's my world famous fabulous Poland chili. It ain't nothing like anything you've ever had. Oh, no, I use pinto beans instead of kidney beans. And chili, what do you use?
I use pintos, red, and black.
Oh, red beans or kidney beans. Yeah. Will you explain to this lady over here that kidney beans are red?
Look at this face.
I know, that's his, I don't care.
They are, and your kidney beans are red, but red beans are a Texas thing. And they are a small bean that looks very much like pintos. They're red.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I would put a kidney bean in a hot chili to save on.
Yeah, that and green chili peppers
Gotta have them.
and,
No hatch chilis.
habaneros, no.
No habanero.
Jalapenos, yes. On the side, you do it for yourself. I don't wanna.
I like green chilies, I just throw in green chilies.
Oh, yeah, green chili, I'll get the spot. Not very much, oh, yeah. Lots of tomatoes.
Lots of onions.
I don't put onions.
Oh, I
I
do.
put that on the side.
Gobs of green pepper.
No, I put them on the side. No, you don't put green peppers in chili.
Pretty sure you do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. They have
You
them.
do?
That's why it's my real famous, fabulous Polar chili.
Does it have?
You don't put green peppers in chili, you put meat.
I made
The
amazing
avoidance
grodies.
that you go
Uh-oh.
off the bread.
Yeah, this one.
I'm See, she makes them, but she don't invite us.
Yeah.
Well,
It was the one
I
that
used,
actually verbally
butternut
talked to
squash
me.
as the filling, so I
Oh.
wasn't sure, yeah.
No,
I
no.
wasn't sure if you
No.
go for that or not.
Squash is not food.
No,
Yeah, it is.
No.
That's a
No.
lot of work. I made them before and I
It's
was
a lot
like,
of work.
they were delicious, but they weren't any more delicious than the store bought. So we were like,
Yeah.
it's too much work. It's
I
so
I have no problems with store bought.
Right. Yeah, it
I got
wasn't
it.
enough more delicious for all the work it.
I got
So much
the
work.
guy
I have
that,
to agree.
you
It
remember,
was a fun experience and they were delicious, but I was like, I can't work this on a regular basis.
It takes all day.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. I love pierogies.
See,
so I like pierogies.
you remember Vern Poplaski up there at Stouts Road?
I can't remember that.
You told me you gave me his phone number to get me to
I have
stop me.
horrible memory and I would, yes.
And then he went and up and died on us. But his wife or his sister would make pierogies.
Oh, yeah?
I jealously guarded them. I rationed them to my cell phone.
I used to go to one of my suppliers in the Huntsville area, and a lot of little Greek or Russian Orthodox, you know, up there. Those little ladies made penis pierogies, pasta. Oh,
Yeah,
I loved it, I bought it about a dozen.
I never couldn't get an appetite for kishka. There's good kielbasa, fresh kielbasa. You can get some that's fairly decent here at the Amish market next to the bowling alley in Waynesboro. Go over Woodward Summit, you know, and on the left-hand side, just as you come into town, across from Redmond Park. Left-hand side, little pond, and you come down the hill. On the left-hand side, there's this little, yeah, but it's an Amish market.
Oh, I have heard of that.
Oh, well, I tell you.
That's John loves quiche. I can kind of take it.
No, that's okay. Who sold the quiche? Let him keep it.
That's it. I think I put it there, that's it's kind of like black pudding from over in UK. I can take it.
Yeah, I don't care. Let's just say I don't care. Craving for any of it. But kielbasa, I'll get a craving
Oh,
for
I
that.
do love it.
And I'm sure Taco Bell puts some addictive stuff in their taco because every so once in a while, I gotta have a Taco Bell. Yeah, I know, but I don't wanna eat it all the time.
Oh,
But
not every
I
day.
get a craving for it. After a while, I gotta go get one.
My problem is either
I think they're
Chick-fil-A
putting
or
some
Arby's.
funny weed in there or something.
Hey, I think I found a comic older than you.
That's not too hard to find.
1963.
Really?
I'm older than 63. You gotta go back a ways.
Still gotta go back
Well,
far.
hey, my Mad magazines were.
Oh, yeah.
made, right?
I found a 1963 Thor, the original Thor, and it's worth $1,200.
The Mad magazines I gave him, the oldest one I had said 35 cents cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I actually voted for Alfred E. Newman.
Did you?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made any difference.
It wouldn't have mattered, but I'm saying, I had nobody to vote for, so I voted for Alfred E. Newman. That was my protest, man. I'm from the 60s, I know all about protesting. No, I'm from the 60s, I don't remember the 60s, that's how I know I was there.
Oh, my stars. Are you dope?
No, but the rooms I was in, I had to inhale. No, I go to the parties and I did inhale, but I never did any. It's the truth.
We went to an Eagles concert. Back when John and I were first getting to know each other.
Okay.
And, I was like, this is just an observation.
Somebody burning garbage.
John said, show me what you do. Hey, dummy, I don't know. I from the heck.
gonna turn 77 next month.
Are you really? Happy birthday, darling.
No, it's not a happy birthday, I'm miserable.
Somebody actually older than me.
I'm miserable, what are you talking about, happy birthday? Ain't happy.
Sure it is.
I feel like a young kid in the bunch.
This guy's, he's like our son.
I know. Goodness.
I'm a little kid in the bunch.
Yeah, you are.
I don't feel like a little kid in the bunch.
Oh, some days, you know, some days I actually feel young. Doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while.
Oh, I feel young all the time, then my body reminds me I am. You ought to see me try to move those dogs and get them split. You saw what I had in the backyard, right? I still got, hickory. We got hickory. We ain't got hickory to do barbecue this summer. I got a plethora of hickory bark. You need hickory bark? Come see me. I'll give you a big. No, what we did, when I did, I throw croquettes on, and then I break up hickory bark and throw it on the croquettes. And they just smoke. That's a big fire. That's very good,
I do like
I just like mine, just throw it on the grill, flip it over, and just
but a little bit of flavor comes from hickory when you do
Yeah.
that.
Do you like, you eat rare? Me too. I want it still cool and.
Oh, I wanted to tell you how to chili. This is the secret ingredient, because I throw so many tomatoes in it, it's too soupy. So I'll thicken it up with bean paste. Pickle bean paste. So that's for making the bread while you're eating.
I had a friend that used to always give me her chili.
And with that wood burning stove, Kirk will soak the beans one night in a big pot, pinto beans. And we lit them on the stove for 2 days, simmering. Yeah, just simmering. Then we throw in the ham hock.
See, John likes ham rocks, and I don't.
Well, once you get rid of the bones and you skin the grease off the top, you're good to go. And you take away the fat too.
What kind of ground meat did you get in? Did he have 70% fat in it?
Gotta have a little fat.
It's a little bit, I don't know, I never really say one way or the other, I just tell them grind and.
Yeah, I have mine ground, well, I tell them, what little, the littlest piece of time you can buy. It's little, you have to use, you know, egg break to make coconut.
Right.
But it breaks apart, it just pulls together, to keep it fat.
Right.
Crispy, and it has so much.
Yeah, I like an 80-20.
Yeah. Well, this way you don't have to put olive oil in the pan.
Yeah, and I always grill it, so the fat just drips off everything.
Yeah, and it makes the fire come up.
Well, it gives you a little more flavor.
Too, yeah.
You do get more flavor.
Yeah,
Just like marble.
my son though, he almost had a heart attack.
How is he doing, by the way?
My
Good.
Which one?
Max.
Max did that.
Max almost had a heart attack.
What the hell's going on with these kids?
Well, it was due to COVID. His heart swelled due to COVID. It was killed him. And, but he also didn't eat well either. His idea of making
Well,
hamburgers
right.
was fry the hamburger and then fry the bun in the grease left over from cooking the hamburgers. And then when you're done with that, fry the onions and everything else in the grease left over.
And then scrape the grease out and use that for cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, grilled cheese
I
sandwich.
told him he's no longer allowed to do it. Yeah, so it's like, he has to watch what he eats, you know.
Does he really? Do they have him on like a really?
They have him on heart medicine right now, until he has to go in and do the treadmill and all that, until they,
Stress test?
No, I can't do that.
until they figure out if there was any damage. Yeah, I mean, they said it was triple cost for kids. And this is the one that's the silent killer.
Is
Yeah.
that because of lack of oxygen?
It just, the COVID, it enlarges the heart, and then what happened is the heart got so big that the sac around the heart started to leak from the pressure. And, yeah, and had he gone to sleep that night, he wouldn't look good. So, yeah, it
What was
was,
his symptoms?
none, other than chest pain now.
Oh, chest pain.
A little bit of chest pain now, and that was his only symptom. He thought it was heartburn.
Heartburn's up here.
Well, I know, but he's 22 years old, he doesn't know heartburn.
Oh, yeah, he's 22 years old.
You
He
had to
doesn't
reach
know-
the heartburn thing.
He doesn't know about that. And Pepsi.
So he got a nice 3-day stay in the hospital for that one.
That's terrifying.
I was like,
It is what it is. Just be pissed, I should have died so many times. You know, what the hell am I doing still alive?
God has a purpose for you.
He does, huh? Yeah, his way of it.
No, you're not.
Throwing a curveball at everybody in the
I know,
world.
where are you
Occasionally
teaching her?
there's a curveball or two.
Gas lady.
He's up there laughing his ass
Gas
off.
lady belongs
Like,
to
he's been laughing at me the whole life.
yeah.
I got it
Tell
from my
me
old
about it.
job, because I want people to think I'm smart. Even though I am smart, I don't think I'm third.
He's like,
Not yet.
not yet,
Get
sorry,
back.
get back.
Get up. Get up. Back,
Get up,
back
get back
to
to
work.
work.
You get back to work, you don't work, you
You
don't
don't
get no
pay.
pay.
Exactly.
What's this?
You don't work, you don't get no
No
pay.
payroll, yeah.
There are plenty of people, they want your job. You get back to work.
Yeah.
Yo, Don, how you doing?
Hanging in there. I think I'm on my 15th life now.
Yeah. You got a cat meat.
I should have.
Yeah,
A long time ago, I
It
should
goes
have.
to that one and then that one. Like, sorry, that was it's only a while ago.
Yeah.
That's why I literally in my degree field, and I would have loved to have.
But I did. They told me I was dying in the hospital. I told you about my sister. I called her up from the hospital, and I told her, I think I'm dying. They told me I'm dying. And if you don't, if I die before you come visit me tomorrow, then I'm gonna be haunting you. I'm gonna park outside your house with a Sabrette hot dog truck and play the music until you go stir crazy.
Oh, no. Did you
Yeah.
come see it?
Well, that didn't take much. She pulled the sister card, grabbed my brother from New York, and the very next day, they were in there.
I love it.
And my brother was fun because I had to breathe this weird stuff into me, right? And my brother was telling the technician how to do it with the Indian way. Hold, breathe in,
I'm having a little late, so I'd like to be there by 7:30.
Hold it.
Just so I can like get there for the first.
hold
Because it ends
it,
at like a little before 9, so I have to be there.
hold
What you
it,
turn blue in the face?
breathe out.
Are you part of the team though, or individual?
Yeah.
My brother is kind of weird.
Do you see
That's
people
interesting.
that are
Oh, he
teamed
well,
up?
I try to warn
Have you
him.
been in?
I don't
No,
know.
I can't get him out here yet.
Now,
He
this
makes
is
Gail.
one- This is the one that needs a new car.
Yeah.
Now, Gail is the normal one.
Is she normal? Sometimes.
I don't think I've ever met one of the normal ones.
Yeah, she's the normal one.
Who?
Gail.
Gail?
Gail's the normal
Oh boy, if you only knew.
one. Gail's the normal one.
Hell, I trained her.
Gail's the normal one.
She had two brothers. She was doomed.
Poor kid.
He's still there.
I do have fun with her. She's out of control.
Is she?
Oh yeah, she's loving life.
I've never seen.
You know,
because it's
it
always
really
been
is an
very-
empty nest for her.
I think a lot of
She's
them, they can't.
Got over all the trials and tribulations
Yes.
of
So you
being
can just
married, taking care of mom, and then raising the kids. One kid.
Gene Ross.
How much your brother did?
It's so dramatic.
He's retired airport worker.
Popcorn, chocolate, dash.
He used to work for Shankers Air Freight. It's a broker. He's got something anywhere in the world. If you wanna get it here through customs, you call up the broker and they do all the paperwork. And they see that your cargo gets on a plane and gets to Macy's with them cashmere sweaters, and somebody checks them as they come through customs with the paperwork. That's what I got to do for a while. I was super field worker. I had SF on my gloves. I would go, super field worker. Because I would go out on the airfield, you see, and we call those field workers. And I had to get the cargo, pull the cargo from different airlines, give them the paperwork, and I had to wait for it to cook. I figured it all out so I could drop it here, go over there, get it quicker, and then come back instead of waiting here and then have to go there. It was fun.
That must be how my friends got their cone top machine. Actually, I got 2 cone top machines in factory. They Portugal, Spain. They don't make them here anymore. They're processing coal.
Oh, okay,
And they're huge. I mean, big machines.
okay.
And I think they had to go through a broker and then get to go through customs.
Yeah, well, with customs, I found out customs gonna just break one package open, sort of like what we do. I told you about that.
So they audit.
It's like an auditor, but you just, you know, you're gonna look at something, but you don't know what you're gonna look at, you just pick this out. Well, that's what customs does with incoming cargo. You just pick out one package and check it out, and if that's not legally marked or something wrong with it, then they hold the cargo.
So the whole shipping container comes over here, they go over it one day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just imagine how many people are doing this and how much is coming in. There's no way you can do anything.
Now, did you just deal with stuff coming in or did you deal with stuff?
No, Gail's company was, yeah, Jimmy's company too.
The zoning of the dog.
He has, I worked for a company called PST, and I would go get my paperwork from Jimmy. And I'd sit there and I'd have a paper bag and she'd write the price of the food on, do the math, longhand and a pencil, rather like this and that, you know, Polish lady. And then I would come 2 cans of 7-Up and 2 Drake's cakes, usually Yo's, set them down, and we would open up the package while they gave me the paperwork.
Oh, wait, no, that's just this.
That was back to the 80s, near JFK.
Okay.
I don't know when in '63, they changed the name to JFK instead of Idlewild.
It used to be Outlaw.
Yeah, I moved there when it was Idlewild. We had no idea it was an airport next to us. Until Convair 444 flew over the house and approached the runway 24 right. And I looked up and I says, ooh, I think I'm gonna be a pilot when I grow up. I'm gonna be a pilot, I'm not gonna be a fireman anymore. Or a tugboat captain. Oh, I wanted to, I even had my own tugboat, you can ask my brother. I'll call him up after the meeting. He'll tell you what the name of the tugboat is. No, the Bon Am Richard.
Naturally.
So,
I mean,
this is a regular tugboat for moving ships, yeah. It was parked in Greenpoint where we lived. Yeah, no joke. You had more fun in Texas, I think.
Yeah. I was working on years before we moved to Texas.
How far west were you, in Shittsburg?
Oh, yeah, I grew up in Indiana, Pennsylvania.
I'm trying to wrap.
But there, it's about an hour or so north.
We do this without
Pittsburgh.
North,
There's a college there.
north, east. That's kind of like around where Jim Brook is.
No,
Oh, hey, John, I need you to come back with your backhoe and put all the gravel back in my driveway.
What happened? What happened? Scoop up that gravel, bring it over to my house. Oh, yeah.
No, it needs to go backwards, I took it out.
They'll never notice it.
I just laughed when my trade got raked up back then. Oh, well, it's still better than shoveling the snow. Thank you.
Well, I thought you had a snowblower. It don't work?
You had to turn right. I had a snow blower.
What'd you do with it? Do I need to know? Somebody borrow it and forget where they borrowed it from?
No, it's kind of like it left with, like,
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you give me a call? Well, mine works. You just plug it in and push a button and it starts. When the power is to the garage.
We were just across the street.
Yeah.
We got a skid loader.
Yeah. Duh. But you still gotta shovel a sidewalk. Yeah.
I didn't bother. It melts.
It melts. In July, there's no snow. No snow.
I don't even worry about it.
At least Kristen comes back and mows your grass for you.
Yes, but that's because she took the lawnmower.
Oh, okay. And she's got a trailer to bring it.
And she took the trailer so that she.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too complicated.
I know. A little more information than I need. I just wanna know who's cooking next Friday. I know
It's your
it's me.
turn, isn't it?
It's my turn. And I'm gonna do the chili. When I get back, I'm gonna get a lump of that from him. That's from last year and start recycling it into some good stuff. Although Patricia, she doesn't like spicy.
No, she doesn't.
I just have to put the chilies on the side.
I guess, yeah.
It's easy. Well, I don't know what you would call it, it's not chili if you don't, you know. Well, I got chili powder in there, so that's, what pie? Well, we call that shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie is made with lamb. Cottage pie is made with lamb.
Okay, well, I didn't know the difference. And you put mashed potatoes on top of it, and
Don't
it's
forget to
amazing.
use carrots.
I got it.
Worcestershire sauce. Oh, it is.
Susan used to cook. You know, I miss that. Susan has forgotten all the cooking. All the recipes that were in her head. You'd never eat cheesecake anyplace else once you tasted hers.
Oh, it was the best.
And her green chili. She would make green chili, and I'll be damned if I could figure out how to make it.
That's one thing John
Green
loves.
chili.
John loves green chili.
Green chili boils. You got a green chili recipe? With pork?
Who made green chili?
Susan used to, from Arizona. She had Garcia's recipe
Oh, cool.
from the,
I'm not gonna say our recipe is that good, but I think it's good. John loves it.
well, it's more or less, seasoned chunks of pork in
Potatoes.
green brown sauce. It's not even, doesn't have any potatoes at all.
Oh,
And oh man, I'm getting a hankering for that. One burrito, and you feel, you're full.
Okay, so you do the burritos, we make stew.
Well,
So that's why we have taters.
well, hell, that's what these guys do with my barbecue. They don't even wait for the bun. They just,
Carnivores.
Oh, I'm serious. We lost.
Wake your son up there.
No, I'm not waking him up.
I'll wake up with.
Yeah, no, he's still with us. He just, checking his eyeballs for cracks. Right next. Oh.
So where in New Jersey does your sister live?
Rutherford. Giant Stadium. Exit 16W on the Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah.
The Meadowlands. The
Okay,
George
so
Washington Bridge.
You're way further along than I am.
Oh, I'm
I
way
used to
up there.
go around for is Farmington?
No.
Nah, I guess you're right. You would have been
I
there.
think it is.
That's in Long Island.
91 he died, right?
Wilson, you go to,
That's right.
I think it was Clinton,
Wilson,
exit
yeah.
30 or 31.
Oh, Clinton on 78.
Yeah.
You go through, you go all the way to the turnpike to get to Hill. You go past Clinton
Oh,
on
okay.
78 and keep going till you hit the turnpike, then you hang a left and go north, like you go into the George Washington Bridge.
Okay.
And just before the bridge is exit 16W.
So
There's a
she's
road
really
down.
in the city then?
Well, she's up there in Rutherford. It's not a city with tall buildings, it's just heavy residential.
But she's about this far from New York City, right?
Oh, yeah. It took me 4 hours to drive from Brooklyn to her house through the city. One day.
Now, does your
9 miles.
brother live in the city or?
No, he lives near the airport in Queens.
Okay.
So he's
I've
out
heard
of
there's some
there.
beautiful neighborhoods, lovely old houses.
Yeah, oh, Brooklyn too. The old brownstones. They're impressive from outside. Once you go in there, you see marble staircases with brass rails. And all that's chandelier.
Horribly expensive.
I know you're out.
Nowadays they are.
That happens, yeah, you lose your memory because you can't piece together what's going on.
Right.
I
I
don't
think
know.
just trying to buy an apartment in brownstones.
Well,
Can't imagine the homes that we need.
And then it came through your car, so
I mean, Sharon's sister used to live in Brooklyn, and the best part of that, well, I got a lot of steel, I got a lot of metal out of that, and junk, because I was helping them, decontaminate, because they were gonna close the building and destroy it, because it was falling down and structurally inappropriate.
So I think.
No, that was another adventure. All my stuff is, that happens to me is an adventure.
All right, it's actually 6:51 right now. We're reconvening from our executive session. A couple things I want to mention here is we had an executive session on February 1st at 5:30 p.m. To discuss employees' raises and also some other matters within the police department. Another thing I have for public, for supervisor comments is some of you may know Paul Wiles. Paul Wiles was on our Citizens Advisory Board. I went a couple of weeks ago and put a card on his door to do a welfare check just to say hi, how you doing? I got a phone call last night from his stepson, Andrew Snyder. He informed me that Paul had passed away. He became sick at the doctor's office, collapsed there, and they took him to the hospital, and he died shortly thereafter on October 17th. So I want to send condolences to his family. Like I said, it's a shame. He's a good guy. If anybody knows Paul, he was always out in the neighborhoods. He's always stopped when he was on the roads, talked to us. So just want to inform the board and also the general public of his passing. All right, any other supervisor comments? No more comments from supervisors? All right, we'll move on here to our minutes from January 2nd, 2024, the reorganization meeting. Did everyone have an opportunity to read those minutes?
I did.
If so, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as read?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the January 2nd, 2024 regular meeting. Does everyone have an opportunity to review those minutes?
Yep.
Do I have a motion to accept those minutes as read?
So moved.
The Treasurer's report for December 2023. Did everyone have an opportunity to look at the Treasurer's report?
Yep.
Do I have a motion to accept the Treasurer's report as read?
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve it. I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. All right, now we're moving on to this number 8A, the invoices. Get to that page for me. 8A. All right. So the invoices, does everyone have an opportunity to review the invoices from 1/3/24 to 2/6/24?
Yep.
Sure did.
We have a motion to approve the invoices as presented.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a correction to the agenda. Under the treasurer's report, that actually should have been January. It's written incorrectly on the agenda.
Thank you,
And we'll make a correction to the motion. It was for January and not December.
thank you. All right, the payroll. Everyone have an opportunity to review the payroll for 12/17/23 to 12/30/23. Mr. Kaiho,
I did, and I'll make a motion that we approve them.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? How about the payroll for 12/31 to 1/13/24, Mr. Lowe?
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll.
I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
The payroll for 1/14/24 to 1/27/24. I'll make a motion that we accept that as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, next up is the elected auditors.
You want me to?
Well, you're a chairman.
Yeah. Yeah, keep reminding me. The main reason we wanted to be here this evening was to discuss, an issue that was brought up in our January 3rd meeting, concerning the chain of custody of the, checks and so forth that are coming in to the, office, thank you. And, as it stands right now, Mr. Barlow is opening all of the mail that
And
comes
me.
in.
At times.
And,
Bobby also.
yeah, okay,
You
good.
didn't know that?
All I know is that the supervisors are opening the mail.
Okay.
Okay, the concern was that that would break the chain of custody for the bond. The bond is, our two treasurers are bonded, but supervisors are not at the moment. So we looked into it, Vince looked into it.
Would you like me to just summarize?
Yeah, go ahead, because
Yeah.
you're the one who made the call.
On Monday, January 29th, 2024, I called H.A. Thompson Company around 1:30 p.m. This company provides the bonds for the township treasurers. I inquired the following about the bonds. Elaine Trofe answered the phone from the company and the following conversation ensued. I asked Elaine what effect would there be if a supervisor or supervisors were on record for stating that they had been opening the township mail for the last 2 years, including checks and other financial information, and then handing it to their secretaries to process. Elaine Trope stated that this action, although is not illegal, would negate the bonds for the purpose of lost mail, checks, or other financial documents received via the mail since the chain of custody was broken. She continued to state that the insurer would not be responsible if mail or money sent via the mail were lost or taken because it could not be proven that only the bonded people were opening the mail and were on record stating so. She advised me to contact the township solicitor to seek further guidance on the topic and to establish a township policy to prevent this from happening, or otherwise invest in an umbrella policy that would cover the supervisors and treasurers. And that
Mr.
is the end of
Liskey,
the
will you
conversation.
address this, please?
Okay, let me start off, well, no, let me start off by saying that the supervisors right now are not bonded for any sort of action. If, after the meeting tonight, one of the supervisors was to go into the shop and steal all the wrenches, steal a power drill, steal some equipment, and you were to try to make a claim with the bonding company, the bonding company would be able to deny that claim because none of these supervisors are bonded.
Correct.
I'm aware of only one township that bonds supervisors, and that's a township where within the last 10 years, one supervisor stole tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars from the township. And now that township, they do bond their supervisors because of that incident. That's the only township that I'm aware of. There may be other ones, but I'm not aware of.
I understand that, but what H.A. Thompson,
Can you let him finish?
Yeah.
You listen to your, what H.A.
So, but basically what you're saying is that by the supervisors opening the mail, you want them bonded because you think they're gonna steal some money, or they're gonna somehow lose some money.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, but yes, that's what a bond is for, to make sure that if they do steal something, that the township is covered. It's for faithful performance of their duties.
That is not even the direction that we were thinking that this township would go, because that's additional cost. We have 2 bonded treasurers in this township. They are the people who should be opening the mail and handling the checks.
And let me just, excuse me for interrupting, but let me just explain this to you. This township, and it's not the only township, and many other townships have had problems with situations where you get one person who's not being watched, who has control over all the money. And after years of doing that, when you talk to these individuals, and like I said, it has happened in this township. It has happened in many other townships. Right. So what happens is when that person has complete control over opening the mail, over writing the checks, over all the financial aspects, they think, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years. Nobody's watching me. I know I can steal money this way, I can steal money by doing this, and that's what happens. So basically what you're saying is you want those 2 people, in this case it's 2 people, but, and again, Wendy or Hannah, I'm not accusing you of doing this. I'm not, but I'm just telling you what has happened in this township and has happened in other townships. That's what happens. When no one is watching the person controlling the money, when they're the only ones involved, that's when you get theft. And yes, you do have a bond, but as some of you may or not know, employee thefts, and we've got police officers here, it's hard to prove exactly how much they have stolen over the years. So in my opinion, the more people that are involved in opening the mail, reviewing the financial records, making sure that everything is on the up and up, it's an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, because it's very difficult to prove what those employees have stolen, and you gotta prove that to the bonding company. And in the case we had here, unfortunately, we probably only recovered about 40% of what, if even that much, of what we thought was stolen.
68,000 to 300,000.
Yeah, so it's difficult to prove. So if what you're saying is you want one person again in control of all this.
We have 2 bonded treasurers, 2.
Well,
2
so
can handle it.
There's a check and balance, there's 2.
No,
okay, first of all, and then the final point I want to make is this is a decision for the supervisors to make. You cannot tell them to be bonded. Okay?
We totally realize that.
Your job is to make sure the treasurer and assistant treasurer are bonded, and they are, and your job is to set the salaries of the supervisors. And I want to stop here, and I want to thank you all for convening that special meeting and setting the supervisor's salary as you did. You know, the reason the auditor's meeting is required to be held the day after the supervisor's reorganization meeting, one of the main reasons is because at the supervisor's reorganization meeting, that's where the small townships, and it's mostly small townships who have working supervisors. The big ones, they've got 20 employees. The supervisors aren't working. They hire people to do everything. But that's why the auditor's meeting is the day after. So because at the reorg meeting, that's when the supervisors are appointed as employees, and the auditors meet the next day to set their salary. That's what you're required to do. And you didn't do that, but then you did do that quickly thereafter, and you set their salary, and I appreciate you doing that.
And that
But that's your first duty, and then your next duty is to make sure that the bonds for the treasurer and assistant treasurer are sufficient, and then everything else is done by the appointed CPA who checks the records.
That's correct. We have 2 we're going to go back to what we were starting with. We have two bonded persons here in this township. According to our bonding agency, they're not going to recognize the bond if we don't have bonded people handling the mail.
I notified
Now,
them.
Well, that's not true. That's not true, because I spoke with the bonding company, and we have them coming in next month, because they're saying what you guys are seeing is not correct. That's their statement to us. The bottom line is, the bonds cover Wendy and Jessica when they make deposits and stuff. If they didn't make deposits and the money didn't get in the account, that's what they're doing. They don't bond anything else. From the mailman to the post office to here, nobody else except for them, when they have those checks in their hands, they're required to deposit those checks, which is what happens. Jessica is she's an alternate. She only works approximately, how many hours? I don't remember how many hours.
1 hour a month.
An hour a month. She is not handling none of
She's
it.
not here.
The only reason she's bonded is because she's in charge of reconciling the bills. That's why she's bonded. She doesn't handle the mail at all. She don't handle no checks at all. She only reconciles the bank statements once a month, 1 hour a month. That's what she does.
Yeah, now let me just tell you, if it's proven that one of the bonded people is stealing money, I don't care who opens the mail. I'm telling you right now, if you can, you know, again, Wendy, I'm gonna use it as an example, but if it's shown, if Wendy is arrested and convicted of stealing $150,000 from the township.
She's not going to be, so don't even use that as an example.
Well, she said it was fine. I'm not saying she's going to, but some people here didn't think our previous person was gonna steal money either. That might have been said the same thing 10 years ago. And Wendy, I'm not saying you're gonna do it at all. I'm just using you as an example.
I'm okay with
If
that.
it's proven that she was to steal $150,000, that bonding company would pay. They're not gonna be able to get out of it because one of the supervisors is opening the mail. And again, I still say an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. The more people that are involved with the finances, the less likely it is you're gonna get ripped off. When we got police officers
You
here.
just made her point.
No, I didn't. The more people involved, Mr. Bostic, I think that if those 3 supervisors were involved in that other case more thoroughly, the theft would not have occurred.
There you go.
That's true.
Put that in
You know, she had complete control over the finances of this township. Nobody was watching her. That's why she was able to do all the things that she did.
That's why she had a credit card and she made her own purchases. Nobody looked at the credit card.
Nobody was looking at the credit card bill, so it was too late. You know,
Okay, so this individual who talked to, Vince over here, you're saying that what she said is totally wrong?
No, I'm telling you that if Mickey opens the mail, let's suppose there's cash in there, and if he puts that money in his pocket, you're not gonna be covered for that.
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct.
Your bonding company will not pay. But it's the same thing if, like I said, if this meeting's over, if one of the supervisors goes over and steals tools, you're not covered.
But we can't prevent him from stealing tools, but we can prevent him from opening mail.
No, you
You
cannot.
can't.
No, you
That's
cannot.
not your call.
And you're not going to.
That is not your call.
I agree, it's not my call, but it can be prevented.
Well, you can be prevented, you can put locks on that shop and say only, you can restrict that and give keys to only people you wanna give keys to.
Correct.
The question
I
is.
find the hostility towards this, meaning that, you guys are, I don't know, maybe not on the up and up, which is fine.
Well, if you're calling me a
But
thief or
I'm
a
not
stealer,
calling you a thief.
you and I are gonna have
saying-
trouble in about 2
I am
minutes.
saying that, please make no
You're gonna have
personal
to-
threat.
It's right there.
Stop, dear.
Well, you just said they're not, you're saying
I'm
that they're
saying
not
that
on the up
there
and
is
up.
a policy that could be put in place that could limit the risk is
No,
what I'm
you-
saying.
And I'm saying to you that that policy, in my opinion, would increase the risk.
That's right.
Because again, you will have one person in control, and that's when you have theft. When that person thinks that they have control over all the finances, nobody can watch them. Nobody can check and see what's coming in the mail. That's when you have theft.
I would like to.
When you have more people involved and overseeing what's happening, there's a less likelihood of theft.
Then
That-
may I suggest that Mr. Barlow and our treasurer open the mail together?
We have done that on occasion.
Why? Because she is bonded, and Mickey is not.
You're missing the point.
Totally missing the point.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, we're gonna continue the operation the way we're doing right now, according to second-class code. And we're gonna meet with our bonding company next month and talk to them with our, Smith, Elliott and Kearns, which put in the practices that we currently have in place now, with 3 signatures on all checks that go out that door.
That's the auditing company.
It is the audit company. They are also the ones that put the criteria in place for us to do exactly what we're doing today. And that is acceptable in standard practices.
Yeah, and it's their call. I mean, basically what you're saying is, the supervisors are basically in charge of the township. When mails comes to the supervisors or the township, it's their mail. You're basically telling them they can't open their mail. Think about that. You know, that's what you're saying. And the reason you're saying they can't open it is because our bonding company won't cover it. And why would our bonding company get involved? There's two, either they're gonna lose that mail or they're gonna steal money from the township. So basically, and I'm just saying that there's a greater likelihood of that happening if they're not involved with the finances of the township. You need to be, in small townships like this, you need to have people involved. You need to have supervisors looking over those records carefully. You need to have them checking the credit card accounts. Make sure that person isn't going to the mall and buying clothes, or going to a gas station, putting gas in his or her own vehicle.
You
You
can do
need
all,
to have those eyes.
you can
doing
do
that.
all that after the bonded secretary enters the numbers in the records.
John,
Yes.
that's what we were doing before it was decided that the bonding not the bonding company, our auditing company, and was doing that, but the auditing company only audits, and they have a disclaimer that says they're not responsible for any errors because they're using the numbers that were provided to them. Our job was to do exactly what you're saying. We, without any other thing, is just checking, okay? And everybody in the township knew that the auditors were checking stuff, that's all. I was doing the math, simple math, and I'd pick up a salary and just make sure the numbers would add up. There was no big deal. I wasn't accusing anybody. I need to compliment Bobby Kaiholtz on his correction on something with all the work that Mr. Barlow was doing. Our road manager, we corrected that this year. We would have corrected it better, but we didn't have more information. But we did revisit the issue that you brought up, Robert, and we did correct and make a disparity between the road supervisor's salary and the other workers.
It only took a year.
Well, we hold a public meeting and nobody shows up. Our recent meeting, nobody showed up, it was advertised. Mr. Barlow showed up for our January 3rd meeting.
I
But
was there.
Nobody else, I'm just saying, the first meeting, yeah, but when we reconvened on the second meeting, nobody showed up. So, all I can say is, we are human, and I'm not accusing anybody, or am I even thinking about accusing anybody. All I'm doing is saying, I want the numbers to match up. And I don't want anybody to spend money that we don't have.
Well, you're suggesting us to bond
I'm
all
not
three
suggesting.
supervisors, which are gonna cost thousands of dollars.
No, this is your
No, that was
decision.
not what we were suggesting.
No, this is we are just bringing up something to the Board of Supervisors that
That was
we
it.
found in the course of our discussions, okay? That's all. We ain't suggesting that they do anything. We're not suggesting that anybody is doing anything crooked. All we're suggesting is the supervisors will come to a decision of whether they wanna act on our suggestion, that's all. It's your job.
Yes.
Mrs. Troff
Yeah.
made a suggestion. That was just what this is right here. That was something
Well,
she said,
we're
this is
not
a
gonna
possibility.
talk about Mrs. Troff, because Mrs. Troff will be here next month to discuss this herself, because she is saying it was a miscommunication. That's exactly the comment she had. We have no more comments about Mrs. Troff. She has told the Board of Supervisors that that was a miscommunication that Mr. Vincent Gee took from her conversation with him. And that's their stance.
Okay.
I'd like just to say that I would have been at the 31st meeting, but I was dealing with police and someone that hit my car.
Right.
I think I had a valid excuse.
Okay, any other discussion for the auditors?
Well, I just want to explain that we corrected the issue and we increased the salaries to reflect the good work that the supervisors are doing on the roads and your normal course of work. And you're extremely right when you come to the difference between all of the qualifications Mr. Barlow has, so he should be getting paid more, and we agree with that. And we tried to correct it as best we could with the information we had. We get more information, like certificates of achievement, all that stuff. Next year, when we revisit the salaries, there may be a bigger increase, I don't know. But that's just one man's thinking. The township elected me to be an auditor, and they trust me to be honest, that's all. And I'm being honest with you guys.
Amen.
In New York, I'm said, that's what they said.
Okay. Well, the only thing you did not do is the auditors, and I'll announce it myself. The auditors decided at their January 31st meeting that they set my new going rate at $1.24 an hour increase to $24.34, and Bobby Teichholz is 74-cent increase for 2024 to $23.84 an hour.
I wanna go on record right now, I don't want a raise. I do not want a raise. If you're gonna spend that money, it should go to him for what he does in this township, while you guys are asleep in bed.
No, what we did was we went to COLA.
I don't care where you went, you heard what I said. I don't want a raise.
Well,
As far as I'm concerned, it should go to him in totality, all $2, or whatever it comes out to be.
that's very good.
Combination. That's the way I feel about it.
That works for me. I just don't wanna have a meeting.
Well, we've already been.
We have already decided that determination, and I think that's great. I think you're being very honest, and I'm proud of you.
My mother would be too.
Well, we don't want her getting excited.
God rest her soul. But, okay, enough said about
All
that. I
right,
think we beat that
if
one.
nothing else for the auditors, we'll move on to the police department's report. Well, first off, we got a couple things we want to take motion on here. At the police department, we had an executive meeting, again, as I said, on the 1st of February. And we have some resignations that we need to accept here tonight. Fine. The first one we have is Joe Davis, sent us on January 24th, 2024. He sent the Chief Bode a letter of service, resignation from the Liberty Township Department of Police effective January 24th of 2024. So I want to accept Mr. Joe Davis' resignation. Making a motion, we accept and make the resignation of Joe Davis.
I'll second.
All in favor?
What was the effective date? I apologize for,
January 24th.
this is effective date, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
The next one is the Officer Chris Rusin. He submitted a letter of resignation on January 30th of 2024. Says, please accept my letter of resignation as police officer of Liberty Township effective February 14th of 2024. I make a motion that we accept Officer Rusin's resignation effective February 24th of 2024.
February 14th,
February
February
4th.
14th.
thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, that's two things here. Resignation. Now, we do have a job application in front of us for Charles Patrick Stewart. Charles Patrick Stewart needs to come in for an interview. Mr. Bose is aware of what needs to happen before we can hire him as a police officer. So, I will make a motion that on condition of him coming in for review, his review and interview with the Board of Supervisors, and also correction in his application. He needs to make corrections to the application. I make a motion that we hire him upon his completion of those two conditions. Anyone else have any discussion on that?
You're making a motion that we interview him once he completes the application.
The application, and he has till February 17th, or he'll have to wait till the next board meeting.
We talked about that, so, and I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
What else do I have on the here? Okay, all right, the next thing I wanna make a motion, here tonight, to promote, Jim French to lieutenant for Liberty Township, Police Department. Now, there's some things in the lieutenant's responsibility package, Mr. Bose, that we need to make some corrections to and amendments to that. So we're gonna promote him to lieutenant upon your recommendation, and then the lieutenant's responsibilities will be amended. So I make a motion to make him lieutenant effective, well, I don't even have an effective date on here. Chief?
Do you want it the next pay period, or what do you want?
Next pay period.
Next pay period?
If it comes with a raise, can we go back 6 months?
Hey, the only raise you're getting is a bar in the chest.
You know, this township well.
Sorry about that.
We're not tight with food.
We're just frugal.
February 11th,
So, do you have the effective date?
February 11th.
I'll second that.
I got a second, all in favor?
All right.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
We appreciate you taking responsibility to step into that position, and, of course, we already had discussion on some of the responsibilities of the position, so we're glad that you've been able to do that, and, look forward, if the chief has an issue, he's not available, you'll be able to step up and take it.
Well, I'd like to also say that Mr. French obviously brings a lot to the township. You bring a lot to the table for us for training and different aspects, your experience, and I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
On the disciplinary system and schedule, we're gonna put this on the table tonight. We're gonna table it tonight for review for the Board of Supervisors. And also, Mr. Lisco has made some suggestions of some things that he needs to add into this policy. And then also, he needs you to email him a copy of the current police policy where he can make sure there's no cross things in there that offset each other before we make a motion to add this to our policy manual. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
So I make a motion that we table this for tonight, And it's gonna be reviewed for the next 30 days, and hopefully we'll adopt it in March of 2024.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Alrighty.
Excuse me, Mr. Brother, Wendy, do you have that online, the current police policy?
I can send it to you, it's
Okay.
not online, but, yeah, Bose and I both have a copy of it.
Okay,
We can
all right.
send it. We'll make sure you get it tomorrow.
Yeah, I looked through my file before the meeting, I thought I
It's
had
fine.
one.
Yeah, we adopted it a few years ago when Chief Hanson was here, she updated it.
Okay,
It could have been a year or two ago.
alright,
I'll definitely resend it.
alright, thanks.
Okay. Alright, other than that, you wanna give us a police report?
Chief Bose.
Good evening. The January 2024 monthly report for Liberty Township, there was 207 hours worked, there was 1,577 miles traveled, 4 traffic citations, and 128.5 gallons of gas used. And Pennsylvania State Police handled 8 calls when we didn't have anybody available. In Freedom Township, they worked 35 hours, 12 traffic citations, 2 911 incidents, and 10 warnings. And in Highland Township, it was 25 hours, 6 traffic citations, and 7 warnings. That's it, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the chief?
Yes, but I'll get together with you tomorrow. It's just something I want to understand.
Okay.
How is the new car being in service?
Doing good now.
I still would like for you and I to reach out to the other 2 municipalities and set up a meeting, where we can have a clear understanding of our agreements and what they want from us going forward in 2024. So if you could please reach out to Jason Stint with Highland Township, and then with
Not young.
Pat, huh?
Not young.
Yeah, thank you there. Matt Young with the Freedom Township, and see if we can get that set up, and we can have that meeting sooner than later, I'd like to let that know.
Okay.
All right, zoning enforcement, we have on here, consider for approval of the junkyard application renewal. That's gonna be for Mr. Dale, Piper. He submitted his $1,000 for the junkyard. You have your inspection report in front of you. Does anyone have any issues or any questions about, renewing his permit?
No.
Make a motion that we renew his permit is applied for.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Thank you. Road department. Now, of course, you know, we had a severe storm that came down in the month of December here, that caused severe damage to Liberty Hall Road, the washout, that we actually did some work there this past year to put piping in, and the water was so strong coming down that, road that it actually washed that pipe out and washed it down into the neighboring yard, and all the stone with it, which we had 110 tons of stone in that ditch. So not all of it came up, thank God, but it did come out. I met with the property owner, discussed a plan of action in the spring to redo that ditch and come up with another way of directing that water when it comes down off that hill, because it just takes this whole yard out, and everywhere down through it gets just washed out. So we spent a day over there with Bruce and the backhoe, straightening some of that stuff out last week. We had a lot of water running across all our roads, particularly over on Bullfrog Road area. We had to close down the roads for about 4 hours on McLaughlin Road, Bullfrog Road. We had flooding on Winshaw Road. So we had, and also we had people over on Friends Creek that were not able to get out. So those things that we were dealing with during the flood area the other big week, one problem I did have, and I want to caution the residents again, when we put out road closure signs, that means the road is closed. No exceptions, the road is closed. Driving around our signs and going through the water does nothing but put you in danger, and if we have to come out and try to do a rescue, it puts us in danger, and that's just malice on your part, and you don't care about the employees of Liberty Township. So moving forward, I want to instruct the chief that if he sees that happening, that he is to take any action he can legally to correct those issues, because they're taking our signs down, throwing them to the side of the roads, and still driving down the roads, even when they're closed. Under the Pennsylvania law, the roadmaster has the ability to close roads when he deems it necessary, and those roads were legitimately closed through county control, and they violated those closures. So just keep an eye on that if you don't mind. We also had the snowstorm. Of course, you guys all seen the snowstorm came in. Of course, we got more snow than they predicted. Usually the weatherman gets paid regardless if he's right or wrong. So, you know, he predicted we were going to get 2 inches, and we got like 6 or 7 inches the one day, and then we turned around and had snow drifts the next day. We spent a total of 24 and a half hours out on the roads, snow plowing, treating the roads, and then we, Bobby, myself, and Bruce came, mixed up what we call a hot mix that we put out there that finally was able to knock the ice and stuff off the road once it got down below 32 degrees. I commend our road department for being out there as long as they did and staying on top of it as best as we could. I believe our roads looked as good, if not better, than the state roads in our township, and most certainly better than some other municipalities around us. So I appreciate you making that comment too, because we were out there and we really was trying to do what we could do to keep on top of those situations. So in January we drove 1,000. In December we drove 1,511 miles in the month, and we used. I actually don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry about that. I'll have to add that to next month's. I did not bring my fuel report, but I'll break this down to 550. We drove 782 miles with the 550, which is a small plow truck. Our GMC truck, we drove 484 miles, and then our big yellow plow truck, we drove it 245.4 miles, and that was just during the snowstorm. 245 miles that we drove in a 24-hour period, plowing snow.
15 miles of road.
And we only had 15 miles of road. So that tells you how much we were out there on the road. And, anyhow, that's what was going on. I did talk with the people that sold us our AEDs over here. We are scheduled to have an AED training course here in the township for township employees and anyone else that would like to attend that training on how to run our AEDs here. When I spoke to her today, I asked her why they hadn't called me for the scheduling, and they said that people that we bought the AEDs from, they're no longer a dealer with them, so we have to get someone else to do the training. So they're trying to find someone else to do the training. As soon as they find that out, we will most certainly get that class scheduled. Some of the things coming up, and our auditors already left, or they might have been interested in this, probably not, but anyhow, the PennDOT 2024 Municipal Road Maintenance and Safety Symposium is coming up on April the 14th through April 16th in Dauphin County. I want to ask the board to approve me to go to these 3-day classes. There is a cost of $88 for the classes. What will happen in those classes? It's a Sunday. Again, I'm going to take and go and do this class on a Sunday, not a work day, but a Sunday. And there's different things that goes on. We have a Roadmaster Roundtable event on Sunday at 2 o'clock till 4 p.m. And then we have an exhibit and reception on Sunday. Monday, we have a bunch of classes. The Township Resource, PennDOT Municipal Services will be there, going over different techniques of road maintenance, hot mix, all kinds of different things. ABCs of liquid fuels, the taxes, and the money we get through liquid fuels. We have a liquid fuels rep there. He will teach us how we can use our liquid fuels in more effective ways and more cost ways for the township. ATV regional trail connector pilot program. That's another training class that will be a part of this symposium. Innovations in the field, the maintenance field out in on the roadways is another class. Collaborating with enforcement and posting, bonding, and roadway programs. And what that class is about when we go out here, we just don't, people just think you just ride down the road and you throw hot mix on the road and that's it. Well, that's not it, because if you just do that, as soon as you have a snow or an ice freeze comes along, everything you just put down will be popped off and be in pieces. So there's a bonding process that takes place, there's a posting process that takes place, there's a preparation process that takes place. These are all part of these training classes that I've been going to for years. Highway occupancy permits, basic for municipalities, that's part of the roadmaster's job to know that who has to get a permit, who don't have to get a permit. Mid-block and trail crossings, these are policy updates that are coming down for all municipalities in the 2024 year that we need to be updated on. PennStart is a safety transportation. So the roadmaster's in charge of safety transportation in our township and making sure that our roads are safe to travel on. Planning for trucks on your township roadways. Stabilizing pavement in subgrades is another class. Using technology in smart paving management classes. And then of course, other than that, that's the end of it. So anyhow, this is up in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's for a 3-day event. I'm asking the Board of Supervisors to approve the $88 for me to go to my training classes and my certification classes.
I make a motion to approve that.
Well, I have a second.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Make sure you hold those certificates because I might need them next year. All right, planning board.
Yes, as you can see in the agenda, there was no January meeting held because the applicant withdrew their application because they're going to submit a new plan.
Okay.
We plan on having a planning commission meeting on Tuesday the 20th. That's our regular meeting time, the third Tuesday of the month at 7:30 in this meeting. And as it will be our first meeting of the year, we will have a reorganization meeting first.
Okay.
Before we start our open business. We will have a number of plans that are being submitted that we will at least accept the plans and set the clock. Whether we will review them will depend on how soon they get them in and whether we have any reviews from county, which I doubt because, we're less than 2 weeks away now.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the planning board? Okay. We will go to secretary treasurer. Consider adjusting allotted hours for February for Hannah. Wendy has some other projects that she needs to get done, and she needs Hannah's help to do that. What is the additional hours again? Wendy, the same as before?
Five a week, additional 5 hours a week.
Additional 5 hours a week for the month of January. Do I have any discussion on adding additional 5 hours a week for Hannah's hourly?
Now we're voting on just for the month of January?
Just for the month of February.
February, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, old business. Under old business, A, we confirm alternate solicitor's rate. I have it right here. All right, alternate solicitor rate is Mr. Zach Mills. Zach Mills' rate for 2024. Only on the risk trail and the first response matter that he's working on. Those are the legal issues he's been handling for us since 2023. His rate there will be still $110 per hour. It's 6 minutes increments. The new rate for 2025 going forward for the township is $125 per hour on 6 minutes increments.
Make a motion, we accept it.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
You say aye? Okay. Alright. The next thing to consider is, what else? Hold on, Shelley, before I do that. Alright, consider employee pay raises. At our meeting that we had on February the 1st in the executive session, one of the discussions that we did there was the pay raises for the Liberty Township employees, and we already had the pay raises adjusted in our budget for 2024 that we adopted in December. So the pay raises are, I'm just going to read it out as we go down the list here. The police officers, part-time police officers pay raise, the current rate is $23 an hour. They're going to be increased at a 4% increase at $23.92 for the 3 part-time police officers that we have on payroll at present time. The next one will be Jessica Ilko, our backup secretary treasurer, a 5% increase at $21 an hour from $20 an hour. The next one would be Hannah Beckett, the secretary assistant. She's currently at $17 an hour. She would go at 6% increase to $18.02 an hour. The road department, Bruce Petcher, currently was at $21 an hour. Last year we skipped him, didn't even give him a raise at all, poor fellow. Didn't ever say a word. Bless his heart. Everybody got a raise by him. So his pay raise, because we did jump him last year, or skip over last year, is a 10% pay raise to bring him to $23.10 an hour from $21 an hour. And then the last one is Miss Wendy Peck, who's our township treasurer and secretary. Her pay rate was $25 an hour for 2023. Her adjusted pay rate is $27.50 an hour for 2024. I make a motion that we accept these increases. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for that. All right, our next thing on our agenda is the Adams County Alliance request sponsor for $200. We did last month table that, and we asked that Ms. Beck look into that, and if it was in compliance with being able for us to even make a donation to them. She did research on that, and she sent out her email to all the township supervisors. Her research question asked if the board of supervisors meets the meeting regarding the compliance of this here. Essentially, the ACEDA is an umbrella organization owned and operated by 3 entities underneath itself. The AC Economic Development Corporation, which started in 1989 with a specific goal of working with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to provide low-interest loans to manufacturers within Adams County. They are the county's certified economic development organization, which means that Pennsylvania recognizes them as the only organization approved to provide state loans within Adams County. They can also provide support to agricultural businesses. There are other 2 organizations or municipal authorities. The AC Industrial Development Authority, it was formed in 1998 by Adams County. They work under the business and banks to bring tax-exempt loans to local projects. The goal for helping business to remain competitive, hiring employees, creating health communities, and economics. The organization also manages state and federal grants for nonprofits and for profit business as well as municipal and county government. So, under the 1542 section of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Code, Community Development, the Board of Supervisors may undertake community development programs, including but not limited to urban renewals, public housing, model cities programs, and neighborhood development projects. Under section 1543, the industrial promotion, the Board of Supervisors may make appropriations to an industrial development agency. So, that was a lot, but thank you, dear, for looking into that. So, the motion, they requested if we would sponsor them with a $200 donation. I'm going to open this up for discussion for the Board of Supervisors before I make a motion.
I don't see how it gives us any value, $200 or $2. It's specifically geared for manufacturing and other things like that, and I don't see that happening in our township, not right now.
Well, that's only one thing it does, Bobby. It also provides help to agriculture, which is a part of our township.
Well, in what respect help
Well,
agriculture?
I don't know particularly because I don't participate in the Adams County agriculture. We don't go and seek any grants or any money through those plans. They do have a lot of plans for that, but I don't seek. Now my son maybe, because he, as you well know, I'm trying to turn the farm operation over to him. So they do have what they call the Young Farmers America program. They get money for grants to start up young farmers with new equipment, stuff like that. They do have all that kind of stuff in play. But again, I don't know. I mean, it's a legitimate organization, and it is something that we are able to give money to if we so deem to do so. That's why I'm opening it up for you guys to suggest. If you don't want to, that's totally fine with me. I'm just asking for
Well, I'm all for agriculture, I'm not saying I'm not, but what I'm saying is, in our township, there's only one farm, pretty much. I know you have a farm there, but Kenny Brown, and there isn't a whole lot more going on besides a handful of people in this township. So this is more geared for the county.
Yeah, it is a county event. It is. Yeah. Do you got any discussion in this matter?
Well, I was kind of curious as to like what all, like it says provide support, like what entitles what is the support, you know what I mean?
All right, well,
Is it just
Hannah, can we
one?
engage Hannah for a second?
We could ask them to come and make a presentation if you wanna
Yeah, I can
reconsider.
reach out.
All right.
I can reach out for more information and ask if they'd like to come to the March or April meeting for.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, for $200, I mean, I don't know if they wanna go to all the trouble,
Well,
but if
the
we want
library
$200
came in for 500, so.
Huh?
The library came in and got them.
This is true, they did. So why don't I make a motion that we invite them to come and make a presentation to the board of supervisors?
We'll do that for April,
Okay? for
because
April?
we already have someone coming in March. Is that okay?
That'd be fine.
Okay. Oh, is that your motion
You
then?
guys fine with that?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
All right, so I make a motion that we invite them to come before the board for a presentation and they can sell themselves.
Okay.
We'll have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Thank you. Okay. The next thing we have before us tonight is gonna be under new business. Do I have any new business, comments, public comments before we go into new business?
I have a comment. I think, I didn't write this specifically on the agenda, the permits, so we didn't read that report.
Do you have it? I don't know.
You don't have
I was
it?
gonna say, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't have it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Whoa, I just, well, maybe because of the
So let me back up to the zoning enforcement side of things. For the zoning enforcement driveway permits, we had, 2 permits for $100 apiece. One was for a pole building of 16 by 30, and the second one was for an in-ground swimming pool for $100, for a total, land use permit of $200. We did, as I earlier said, we approved the $1,000 for the junkyard permit, which gave us a total income for the land use and permits of $1,200 for the month of January.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I keep this?
Yes, you may.
Okay, thank you. All right, if we have no public comments under new business, we'll go down through here under new business. The first thing we have on here is to consider a motion to issue awareness letters for the June 8th Tour de Fredericksburg bike ride. Huh? Not the France.
It's Tour de
France. That's what it says. Tour de Frederick. So, they submitted a plan, a route plan to the township, which they're required to do, and they'll just,
They've obtained insurance.
yeah, they got the insurance, so I'm making a motion that we give the approval for them to ride through our township and look at our beautiful landscape.
I don't think they actually go through our township, do they?
Yes,
They do.
it's the land,
They do.
yeah.
Well, I'm trying to read this and
It says
understand.
in Liberty, out of Liberty. If you look on the map, it shows you where it's.
Oh, okay.
I think they're
Bullfrog
driving on like
Road,
Bullfrog and Pumping Station specifically.
Yeah, Bullfrog.
I gotcha.
Yes, they got a plan map here for you. They're gonna go in Liberty Township, in the
They'll be on
Freedom
Liberty,
Township.
they'll be on Liberty Hall Road,
Yeah,
they're using that.
and they submitted their insurance certificate.
Yeah,
That's all
maybe
in
us as a
place.
holder.
So I'll make a motion that we allow them to come to our township and have our license.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Thank you. B, consider a motion to not oppose the Tax Claim Bureau's property sale of lot number 25 AA 0-0210-000, 10 Lindsay Trail. Any objections to the sale of this lot?
None.
I make a motion that we do not oppose it. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, consider a motion to receive bids for a building cleaning contractor. So, I have made, some contacts with, Mary Maid, got a price on, having an outside contractor come in and start doing our bi-weekly cleaning of the Liberty Township, because I'm not gonna do it tomorrow. I'm stepping down from that position, and, so, we will have an outside contractor say, we wanna make a motion that we put out for bid, for the cleaning services bi-weekly, in the township. Anna has already, reached out to some people that, for bids. We just, have not got those bids yet because the motion had not been made to do so. So that's my motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
How's it gonna be advertised?
How's it gonna be advertised?
Yeah.
Well, we could advertise, if you wanna spend the money, we can advertise in the paper, or we can just do word of mouth.
We could do the 3 phone bids, or,
Yeah, the three.
we get
phone
3 written bids,
Yeah,
we
3
can just
phone
call
bids.
people.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Or do you want it, or it's up to you if you want it to an ad in the paper.
No, I'm not
Okay.
advocating
We'll
for
put it on
having
our
a paper. I
website.
was wondering how we were planning on advertising was my question, so if you're gonna do it by word of mouth or however, that's fine, but I wanted to know what your intent was.
Yeah,
I think most likely we have already collected from all area municipalities to see who they're using.
yeah.
Then we would contact who's
Well, I didn't
in
know
Adam,
that.
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll
I
do
forgot
that
about that. She did.
and get recommendations. Hannah did that to get recommendations from
Okay.
other, and we'll contact who they're using to ask if they wanna perform a bid and present
Okay.
it. Okay.
Alrighty. Anything else on, we already made a motion tonight, that's all done, right?
What's that?
Did you vote on that?
Did we
They
vote?
did.
Yeah.
Okay,
I thought we did.
okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okey-dokey, let me see, it's got a distribution, that's one right there. Alright, the next thing is gonna be item D, consider request for a waiver of plans planning commission's review of the Shawnee lot Salvation 25QQ 0-0011-000 25 QQ 0-0012
And 13.
dash 000 dash 25 QQ 0-0013 000 the glass property. 105-115 Airedale Trail.
You missed a couple dash.
Sure.
Did you repeat that? I didn't hear it.
Did you get all that written down in the notes?
It's on the agenda.
Thank you.
Yes.
Alright,
And the next motion will know you can.
so they've asked for, the planning commission review to be, waived. Do I have a motion to waive the planning review?
Just make note that it's a Charnina lot for consolidation, and that is
Yeah,
usually the practice.
Consolidated lot,
Those are all Shawnee lots.
Yes.
yes. So I make a motion for the waiver. Have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Uh,
Alright, the next one is E. They're asking, consider a request to abandon the right of way between, here we go, right there.
So you want-
25 QQ 0-001-000 25 QQ 0-0012-000 25 QQ 0-0013-000. I am going to deny this request.
So you make a motion to deny.
Yeah, they're gonna motion to deny this request for the fact that Liberty Township cannot abandon this road because this road is a private lane that we have no authority to abandon.
and I'll second that.
All in favor?
Alright.
Thank you.
One more time, Mickey.
Come on, shoot, Carol.
One more.
Could he just say lot 115
No,
slash?
he gets to say whatever he wants to say.
I'm just trying to make it
He
easy.
knows what he can say and not say.
I have him just say lot 115 slash
I
115.
believe that's his free will.
We will
There-
do that,
there
we will
it
do
is.
this on this last, how's that? Consider a conditional approval for the Shawnee lot consolidation for the glasses on lot 105-115 Airedale Trail. There's a motion to consider approval of the lot consolidation.
Did you want any elaboration on that?
Go ahead.
The plans that they submitted, as you will see, contain the fact
I'm
that the right of way has been abandoned.
Correct.
So in fact, although that you will consider a waiver of the plan, they'll need to resubmit a plan that does not contain an abandoned right of way.
You know, since you said that, you know, I think we should deny that one too.
With a waiver?
The last one.
So you will deny that?
Yeah, we will.
Because the plan is
we-
incorrectly represented.
Yeah, I wanna make a motion to deny that request. They need to submit new plans, not showing the
Not showing the
abandonment
right
on
of
the road. Because if we
Exactly.
do this any other way, they could misconstrue that we gave them approval, for consideration of Charlene approval, and so, no, they're not. I'm making a motion to deny, that number F.
And I'll second that.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, that's that.
756.
Do we have anything for discussion? Last thing on my, never mind, I'm not gonna do that. I'll make a motion for adjournment.
756.
All in favor?
Who seconded it? Who seconded it?
I did.
Somebody.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, fellas.
I got something for discussion.
What's your pleasure? Yeah, what's for dinner? Lady, what's for dinner?